today, the topic is responsible use of social media. So we very responsibly going to go live on our social media, so you can come in and have a look and listen in to the legal ramifications of not being responsible on your social media. So head off to our Facebook, head off to our YouTube. We're live right there right now. Today, as I'd mentioned, we're talking about the responsible use of social media. Assalamu alaikum, Altaf. Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, Charles. Assalamu alaikum to our listeners.
So why are we talking about this today?
You know, this wasn't supposed to be today's topic. I had done
Right.
a completely different topic.
Okay.
But we had this incident this morning involving the bus in Tonga.
The bus, yes.
And I said that this is something that I want to talk about
Mhm.
because this morning's accident is a prime example of what happens
Yeah.
when something of this nature occurs. Now, the use of social media is extremely rampant today. I
Mhm.
mean, virtually everybody has got the Meta products. So Meta products being Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram.
Yes.
I mean, virtually everybody. WhatsApp at the very least. I mean, it's one of the most effective means of communication.
Absolutely.
So social media is rampant. It's everywhere. And the issue that we have, and the pictures that came out this morning, I'm not even going to describe those pictures, but
Yeah.
Quite simply put, people post things on social media with no filter.
Naz is here.
Now, the most rampant use of social media is perhaps community WhatsApp crime and traffic groups. What is your opinion on these?
Now, these groups are very useful
Mhm.
because you're getting very up-to-date information as and when things occur,
Right.
right? Your problems become very quickly known. I mean, sometimes this information aggregates on these groups faster than the emergency services get the information.
Mhm.
I mean, people are aware of a cash in transit that's happening before the police are even aware of it.
Sometimes the police find out from there.
Correct, because
There you go.
that's how quickly this information spreads.
Spreads.
And it is very useful because you're now aware of problem areas and you're able to avoid those problem areas.
Is it also true to say that misinformation is spread just as quickly?
Correct. Whether it's correct information, whether it's misinformation, information spreads very rapidly and very
Yeah.
virally, especially when it's something juicy. When it's something like, you want to talk about this, you want to let other people know
Yeah.
about this.
People forward messages without verifying its authenticity.
Correct. And I mean, I know on TBR, you've got the policy of if that message has forwarded,
And forwarded many times.
we're not going to read it.
Not at all. Can people be held responsible for what they post on social media?
You can most definitely be held responsible for what you post. Remember, anything that you post would be deemed to be a publication
Yes.
because you've posted it onto a platform where multiple people have become aware of it.
Mhm.
So it's a form of publication.
Mhm.
Now, this would be the same as if you sent a letter, you sent an email, you put an article in the newspaper, you spoke on live TV, or even if you spoke the content directly to a person or
Yeah.
persons. It's the same. It's communication. Your thoughts, ideas, etc., are communicated. Now, yes, you can be held responsible because you could face civil action.
Mhm.
You could face criminal charges, all depending on what you have posted or said.
How would you advise people to avoid these potential pitfalls of social media?
So
The first thing to do is
stop.
It's difficult for a lot of people to do this.
Yeah.
But I want you to emphasize what it is. The very first thing.
You need to stop and think before you post. Right? Ask yourself this question. Is the information that you are posting verified? Meaning, can the source be ascertained?
Mhm.
Do you know that this is legitimate information? Do you know that this is actually happening?
Mhm.
Is this person who's posting this trustworthy? You should also only post what you personally know. If you are driving through the intersection of Sparks Road and Brickfield Road, and you see a motor vehicle accident involving 5 vehicles and 3 fatalities,
Right.
all you need to post would be major accident at the intersection of Sparks and Brickfield Road,
Yeah.
avoid the area.
That was an example, boys and girls.
You don't need to take a photo.
Mm.
You don't need to take a video.
Yeah.
You don't need to run up to the person who's lying on the ground and take a photo of them,
Oh, no.
because that's exactly what happened this morning.
People stopped on the bridge, took out their phones, directed their camera toward where the bus was lying and where people were lying on the ground and just started shooting as if they are award-winning photographers.
Correct. And it's actually quite disturbing seeing
Very.
photos like that there.
Yeah. Very. So you mentioned civil action. What could possibly happen?
Right. So depending on the content of it,
Mm.
you could be sued for a monetary amount.
Mhm.
I mean, if you post something that's defamatory,
Mhm.
if you post that Auntie Razia from flat 22,
Fictitious.
I don't know, mistreats her animals,
Right.
and you put a whole story to that
With no evidence.
with no evidence,
Mhm.
you could potentially be sued for defamation.
Mm.
And it could potentially work out to be very costly for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Also, depending on the circumstances, somebody could take out a protection order against you. And if you then contravene that protection order, you could be arrested.
Speaking of being arrested, what other sorts of criminal action could one face?
So, if criminal charges are laid against you in relation to anything that you've posted,
Mm.
you could be arrested.
Mhm.
Now, if you're arrested, you're going to spend some time in the free accommodation. You could face a fine, and these fines are quite stiff. I've seen some of
Yes.
these fines going up to R1 million or more.
Gosh.
You could face jail time.
Mhm.
I've seen certain offenses involving social media carrying a penalty of up to 10 years imprisonment.
Whoa.
And it really varies depending on the circumstances. But arrest, fines, detention, all of these are possible consequences of you posting stuff that is untrue on social media and using social media in an inappropriate manner.
So here's a question from a listener on WhatsApp. What happens if I post about a company who came to my house, did a poor job, and posted a negative review on his Facebook or Instagram? You've paid this person to come through. Let's assume they're doing your kitchen up, right?
Yeah.
You paid this person to come in to do the kitchen cupboards and the tops and the what have you. Done and dusted. Deal is done. They've left you with substandard cupboards, tops. They've given you poor workmanship. They've given you attitude. They didn't keep to deadlines, whatever the case may be. And then you decided, okay, I'm going to go write a review on their social media. What's the consequence of that?
So you have the option, or you have the defenses of truth
Mm.
and fair comment.
Aha.
Now, so if you have posted that the wood is substandard because I placed a pot on it and the wood broke and the pot fell,
Mm.
that is truth.
Right.
However, if you post that he took out the wood from his granny's kitchen and put it into my house,
That's an assumption right there.
that's an assumption.
Yeah.
You can't prove that.
Aha. Another one from the listeners says, Salams, what if the false accusation is just made person to person on WhatsApp? Your basic gossip groups.
Person to person, again, you potentially could be taken to task for it.
Mm.
It wouldn't be a publication as such, but there are possible consequences.
So here's one that says, Salamu alaikum. If a man at the flat scratches your car, taking the air out of your tires and does not want to give you access to the camera, what do you do? I'm assuming the security cameras. This is now off the social media topic, but general question for the lawyer.
Okay, so I'm assuming that the building doesn't want to give you access to the security cameras.
Yeah.
Open up a case and get the police to get the footage.
There you go. You got the answer. Thank you very much, Altaf. Much appreciated. Your time, your advice, your information. If somebody wants more, how do they get a hold of you?
You can drop me an email.
Mm.
Email address is altaaf@raooflaw. That's Sirazere. I'll give it to you again. altaaf@raooflaw. That's Sirazere. Might take a day or two, but I will respond to you.
You're going to get there.
We'll get
Get there. Interesting, Naz.
Absolutely.
Hey?
Interesting.
We go onto social media often and we just clickety click on the keyboard without thinking about consequences. And now Altaf's just highlighted that there are consequences.
You have to think before you post.
Absolutely.
Imagine having a 1 million rand amount
Yeah.
that you got to pay
Mm.
because of just posting rackety rack, whatever anyone says to you, you just go and post it. And if you think of it,
Yeah.
this happens every single day on the
Mm.
groups.
It does.
If you are on CPF groups, for example,
Oh, I like them and I don't like them.
day in, day out.
You get certain CPF groups that are useful. And listen, the very first social media known to mankind is radio.
True.
This is where we all interacted. This is the very first social media. Whether you sent a letter via the post office to your favorite presenter to say, I enjoy listening to you, or nowadays you pop in a WhatsApp message and I enjoy listening to you, it is the first. Let me say it on the first social media. There are certain CPF groups and community groups and what have you that are extremely useful, extremely helpful, where people have rules, they stick to the rules and they move on. And then there are others that are just blatantly, just under the surface, political.
True.
You're trying to play one resident against the other, one group against the other. You're trying to play one security company against the other, one ambulance service against the other. It's subliminal, but it's there.
For me, it's about the pictures.
Yeah.
Posting pictures of accidents. If there's an accident and there's a little child with her face that's covered in blood,
Mhm.
you'll go and video her
Yeah.
and post it for the entire community to see.
I heard this once previously, and now that you bring it up, Altaf is still here. Let me ask him before we get to news, right? Altaf, somebody posts a picture of a robbery suspect that was apprehended.
Mm-hmm.
Can posting that picture actually
I'm
affect
going to
anything?
stop you right there. That potentially jeopardizes the entire
Case.
prosecution because you've identified the person before they appear in court.
How does that make a difference? Everybody saw him anyway.
In terms of law, you're not
Yeah.
supposed to identify this person before they appear in court. You now have the picture that's been set out on a WhatsApp group with 5,000 members of the group. And everybody's seen this photo. This person was arrested for housebreaking or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The entire investigation is potentially compromised.
So what's the advice over there?
Don't do it. Post a report by all means.
Yeah.
But don't post a picture of the suspect.
I've seen recently where pictures are getting blurred.
I've seen pictures where the face is being exposed and
Yeah.
they say that the intention is for other people in the community to look out for that person.
Okay, so that's potentially somebody who's not been apprehended, not been arrested or whatever just yet.
In a
That's
lot
just
of
somebody who's in the
cases.
area
Yes.
committing
No,
crime.
no. In the case I'm talking about,
Yeah.
it's where the person was arrested but
Okay.
has now been released and he comes back to the same area to do the same things.
Well, then prevention, I think, is better than cure. I'm not sure how that one there would work. But yeah, it is your breakfast rush. It is, let's see, almost, let's try and get that working. There you go. It is almost 8 o'clock and time for news.